What's going on YouTube? Back into the video today. Going to be testing out this $60 Radeon RX480. RX480. So a little story behind this. I was on Craigslist and this guy was parting on an HP PC, and he said he really needed to get rid of the part. He didn't have any space for the parts and he needed to sell the parts off pretty quick. So this is the result of that. He only wanted 75 bucks for it. I got there, he couldn't test it. So, stopped him down to $60, which is already a good deal at $75 anyway. So, yeah, got this nice RX480. This is a HP OEM model. Nothing too fancy. A 4GB model. Reference design PCB. Three display ports and an HDMI. So, I'm going to go ahead and pop it in the Mac.Pro and test it out. Stress test it. See what it does. And the specs of the Mac.Pro. Dual 3.46 GHz quad-core Xeons. RX 580 8GB, USB 3.1, Wi-Fi, and then a PCIe SSD, and a bunch of hard drives in these bays right here. So, go ahead and install it, and I'll be back when it's installed. Giving us a little better look inside the Mac.Pro here. As you can see, there's the RX 480. Has a 6-pin connector instead of a 8-pin connector, so this makes it really ideal for the Mac.Pro. Kind of a perfect little card for this machine. I got my SM951 256 gig PCIe SSD, USB 3.1 card, and the Wi-Fi card. Those were previously featured in my Hackintosh. I have videos on that on the channel. I got the RAM down here and my CPU. So, I'm gonna go ahead and hook it back up to the system. The display, and boot it up. See what it does. All right, we should be good now. I got the RX 580 out, like I said. There's the beast 8 gig 580. So, let's go ahead and power on. Hold on. Gotta turn the power on first. Okay. I can take this. Alright, that's the that's the keyboard and mouse. Well, we're not getting any display, so let me go ahead and fiddle around with this thing, make sure everything's seated right, and I'll be right back. Well, 5 seconds after I turn the camera off, we have display. So, go ahead and sign in. Cool. So, looks like it's working just fine with the 4K display. Go to About This Mac. Come on. Zoom into the specs. So, yep, it's recognized. Obviously, it's not going to say RX 480 because it's not a Hackintosh. The text isn't really modified, so it can say RX 480 or 580 or whatever. But it did get the frame buffer right. We have 4 gigs of VRAM. Just go to displays here and see what she says. Graphics displays. Yep. I'm running at 2560 by 1440 for right now. Has a little bit better scaling. Main display, yep. Display port, everything looks like it's good. So, let's go ahead and run a few benchmarks, starting with the BruceX test. Alright, so this is my last attempt at the BruceX test. I really want to get this right. So, I'm going to go ahead and import the test. I'm going to double click it. Put it in my editing library. It's going to import. Go to preferences, make sure background rendering is off. Exit out of that. Double click on it, make sure it's all good. Select all of it and export. It's taking a little bit of time. Come on. And make sure it's ProRes 422. Gonna do it to the desktop. Right there. Click save and click start. You can see its progress right here. It's lagging a little bit on the stopwatch, but yeah, so it took 46 seconds for it to do the BruceX test, which is pretty crazy. Not really sure the accuracy of that, but I'm going to take it for what it is. Again, grain of salt. This is just testing. This isn't like an official benchmark video or anything like that. So yeah. But next up, we're gonna go ahead and do Lux Mark, and we're gonna see how this does. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to the OpenCL benchmark, and let's see what she does. Alright guys, so as you can see, scored 12,849. Let me see if I can pull up the one for my RX 580 just to compare. Let me see here. Alright guys, so OpenCL test, Lux Mark. As you can see, the RX 480 is actually kind of faster than my RX 580. But yeah, it's kind of surprising considering that the 480 is less powerful, has lower clock speed, and has less VRAM. So that's pretty cool. Next test should be the Cinebench test. So let's go ahead and load up Cinebench. And gonna go ahead and do the OpenGL test on the RX 480. Alright, so if I can zoom in a little bit so you guys can see a little bit better. 68 frames per second. Let me go ahead and pull up the score. Alright everyone, so this is the benchmarks for the RX 580, and here is the ones for the 480. And as you can see, it's actually a little bit higher again on the Cinebench store, so it's kind of weird. I'm thinking it has to do with maybe the drivers on 10.12.6 versus 10.13. But I might have to rerun the benchmarks. But yeah, this is just a basic take it with a grain of salt kind of thing. Just testing the card, make sure it works well, so I can get rid of it. And yeah. So moving on to the next benchmark, Geekbench 4 Compute Geekbench 4 Compute benchmark. So go ahead and run it. All right, got 126,166, which is not too bad. So let's go ahead and upload that and compare it to my RX 580, which should be higher. Go to my account. Go to my compute. Yep, and so the RX 580. If I can zoom in, this is the RX 580 score, 131,791. This is the one it just did. That was RX 480. But you know, take these with a grain of salt. These are two different operating systems I'm testing on, so these aren't really necessarily apples to apples, but they are pretty similar in performance. So take it with a grain of salt again. So that's pretty much all the benchmarks I wanted to go over today. Just wanted to test this machine, or test the graphics card, make sure it was working really well, and you know, make a little bit of profit on it. Now I will get people asking, you know, how do you get these crazy deals? You know, I got the T7600 for $100, this graphics card for $70, guys. The secret is going on Craigslist. If you're in the States, go on Craigslist, go to computer parts by owner, and that's where I get all my parts from. Honestly, people just, you know, getting rid of this stuff, and I happen to catch it on good dates, and yeah, definitely keep an eye out for Craigslist. Plenty of great stuff on there. Always check Craigslist. Check Craigslist pretty much every day for deals like that. They come up every once in a while, but you know, with the mining craze going on and graphics card prices going crazy through the roof, I should be able to turn out a good profit on this thing. Although I only paid $60 for it, it should be a great profit. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.